Toyota sold 144,696 4Runners in 2021, and that's a percentage gain of 12% from 2020, and the trend doesn't seem to slow down anytime soon, even though the current generation was launched back in 2009. And what I'm gonna do in this video is walk you through the generation starting in 1983, and then I'm going to design what I think could be a potential design for a 6th generation 4Runner. Since the sport utility vehicle was the first of its kind for Toyota, the name 4Runner actually came from the word forerunner, with an emphasis on its 4x4 capability and seating for 4. The Toyota Hilux and the first generation 4Runner from 1983 share nearly all mechanical components from the dashboard forward. All first generation 4Runners were identical to the pickups, and they all had 2 doors only. In fact, these early models often had a sagging rear suspension because the rear springs were not upgraded to handle the extra weight of the back seats and the fiberglass top. For the 1990 model, Toyota released a second generation of the Hilux Surf and the 4Runner. The Hilux pickup continued to serve as the foundation for these models as well. It represented a significant change from the model from the first generation. The new 4Runners came with a newly designed, fully integrated steel body mounted on the existing frame rather than an upgraded pickup truck with a fiberglass cap. From the B-pillars forward, the 4Runner did, however, continue to resemble the Hilux almost exactly. Late in 1995, for the 96 model year, the 4Runner went through a major redesign. You got a brand new body shell on a brand new chassis, and the body and chassis were unique for the first time, even though they shared many components with the Tacoma, including the engine and the transmission. The 4th generation 4Runner had a lot of changes to its body and chassis, but it was still marketed to the same people as the 3rd generation model. The new 4Runner was still sold as a mid-size semi-luxury SUV that could go off-road, and it had the same basic rugged exterior design features as the previous models. The current 5th generation 4Runner, which shares the same platform as the FJ Cruiser, was unveiled in September of 2009 and went on sale a couple of months later. And the current generation 4Runner received its biggest facelift in 2013, which included exterior cosmetic changes as well as a revised front and rear fascia with projector headlights and clear lens LED taillights. So now, looking at the current generation, what could the next generation look like, the 6th generation 4Runner? And that's what we're gonna have a look at here. So I think it could probably take a lot of inspiration from the brand new Toyota Land Cruiser. So add some of that Land Cruiser feel in the front end for the identity of the car and for the identity of Toyota, because you gotta keep in mind that the current 4Runner was designed back in the mid-2000s when there was a completely different design language for Toyota. So applying a Land Cruiser style front fascia, but still removing some of the bottom parts of it to make it look more off-road capable, which it is if you remove some of the bumper underneath, and keeping the skid plates and stuff like that really makes the 4Runner what it is today. I think that could look really cool. I'm a huge fan of the 4Runner. I think it's one of these cars that they really don't need to upgrade. Yes, the styling and the aesthetic, specifically in the interior, is way out of style today. As I said, this was designed in the mid-2000s, so I think the interior is also going to have it's definitely going to get a major overhaul and take some inspiration from the Land Cruiser as well. Maybe not a fully digital gauge cluster, but definitely bigger screens, and of course taking more inspiration from the design trends of interiors that we have today compared to the ones that we have 15 years ago that are still in production in the 2022 4Runner. So what I want to do here is pretty much keep the proportions and the styling of the side of the 4Runner as it is, the current model, the 5th generation. I think that styling could actually work still today, because it looks rugged, and rugged doesn't necessarily go out of style. So I love these big fenders that we have in the front and the rear of the 4Runner. I love the wheels as well, and the skid plate that we see underneath. And this, over the years, of course it was introduced in 2009, but over the years it's gotten a lot of improvements and updates made to it. For example, just to mention one detail, in 2021 all 4Runners got the push to start button in the interior, and you have a JBL premium audio system. You also have safety features such as blind spot monitor and rear cross traffic alerts that was added as standard on most trims. And another thing that's really cool for the TRD Pro on the updated 4Runners are that they now get multi-terrain monitoring, and this uses strategically placed cameras and let the driver see the entire surroundings on the trail to make it easier to spot potential obstacles. I honestly think if Toyota were to just keep selling this, if you look at the trend that we see for the 4Runner right now, it's selling better than ever, even though it is such an old design. And I think that goes to show just how good of a car this is and how much people love this. And it's created almost like its own culture or its own fan base. And specifically out here in Colorado, you see them absolutely everywhere. And I've seen a lot of stock 4Runners handling some pretty rough trails without any problems at all. So it is a very good car. It's comfortable, it feels like you're driving a truck, and it's also a body-on-frame setup which helps with the ruggedness of this car. I'm not sure when Toyota is going to release the 6th generation 4Runner. I guess they're not in a hurry based on the sales figures, but if they were to release one, I think this would be a pretty cool looking 4Runner, applying some of that Land Cruiser feel and modern architecture in the front end, but still having the same type of bumper in the lower part of the front end like the current 4Runner to not mess with the off-road capabilities and approach angles. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.